Hey everybody. A couple of you asked me how to host the Power BI gateway somewhere online so that you don't have to keep your computer online all the time to keep the refreshes running. And that's what I'm going to show you today. We'll be using Azure and we'll be using Azure Virtual Machines. I'll show everything how to set up the gateway to run online. Obviously, this comes with a cost and you'll see what your options are. Let me show you how to do that. All right, so yeah, as I said, we'll be using Microsoft Azure. Now, one thing that I'm not going to show you in that tutorial is how to set up Azure from start. What you can do is just go to azure.com, just like that, and you'll come to this same webpage, but then just click on this Get Started with Azure and follow the process. It's going to ask you to set up your credit card and everything. And by the end, when you're done with all the setup, you should be able to log into another website called portal.azure.com. And this is where we're going to set up the virtual machine. So I'll just go ahead and click on Create Resource. I have it right here, so I'll just click it. There are a couple of things that we need to fill out on this page. The first thing is the resource group, and I'll just click on Create New. You can use whatever name you want here, but I'll just use test Xero PBI like that. It doesn't really matter. Don't use my name because it won't work. It has to be unique. Now for the virtual machine name, this doesn't matter either, but I will just use Xero GW007. The region, select the closest one, the closest region that you can find on the list. For example, if you're living in the US, choose one of these. If you're living in Europe, like I am, choose one of these. Try to select the closest one, but it will be the same. The image should be one of the Windows images. Make sure to select one of these Windows Server Azure editions, and I'll just select this one. If you select this Windows 11 or Windows 10, it'll ask you for the license, and I don't have a spare Windows license with me, so I'll just use this image, which already includes the license with it. Now, one thing that's really important is the size, and this is actually the price that you'll be paying. So let me just click on See All Sizes, and you should do the same. Now, this most used by Azure users. You can just collapse it. These B series machines are what I usually use, and the size is cleverly hidden here on the side. That's your monthly cost, what you can expect. Now, with these virtual machines, this $11 per month machine won't work. I've just tested it a couple of minutes ago. It won't work. The Windows can barely load, can barely sustain itself, much less can it run the Power BI gateway. And the same with this $20 one. Unfortunately, this is, so what you're seeing here is how many CPUs does it have, how much RAM does it have. That's 2 gigabytes. That's unfortunately too low for Power BI gateway to run. So what I tried and what works is this $40 machine. Now I know this is not the cheapest, but yeah, that's what you can expect with Azure. So I'll just use this B2S. That works for me. So, and I'll just click on select, and here on the side you can also see the total cost details. The image, this is your Windows license. Then the size, this is the actual virtual machine, so that's the RAM and the CPU. And then the disk, it will cost you $21 per month. So yeah, around $60-70. This is what you can expect when using this specific virtual machine. So for the username, so if you choose something like admin, it will say that usernames must not include reserved words. So what I usually like to do is just use admin dash and then something silly like 007. And for the password, I'll just use something and then I'll come back. Make sure to save that password somewhere safe. Now for the public inbound ports, you can leave everything as it is. I like to click around here. So you can, I haven't tried this, but instead of premium SSD, you can save some money by choosing standard SSD, and this will be a bit cheaper. That's fine. So I'll just click on networking. That's also fine. You can see that this estimate did not include the network's cost. Now it does as well. And there's nothing else that you need to configure here. Same for management, monitoring, alerts, that's all fine. Advanced, that's all fine. Yep, that's all fine. And I'll just click on review and create. I'll just go ahead and click on create. And now Azure will take its time to create the virtual machine. It usually goes pretty quickly, and yeah, I'll come back once it's finished. And when you see your deployment is complete, you can click on go to resource. No, that's not the end of the story yet. Usually when the virtual machine is created, it takes a couple of minutes for it to really settle down and get itself ready. So yeah, I'll just wait for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll continue. I believe virtual machine is ready now, and we can proceed with setting it up. Now, one thing to copy into your clipboard is your public IP address. So I'll just click on this copy to clipboard. So now you have a computer in the cloud, and now you have to configure it yourself as well. And for that, I'll just switch to my other desktop where I have the Microsoft Remote Desktop application. I'm on a Mac, so it looks something like this. But if you are on a Windows, then you can also use Windows and R buttons, and then use the mstsc command, and then just click on OK. And this little remote desktop connection will open, and then you can follow the procedure here as well. But I'll show you how to do that here. So I'll just click on a plus here, add a PC, and then the PC name will be the IP address, user account, and yeah, I believe that's it. Okay, and now I can do add, and let me just double click it. It says configuring remote PC. That's a good sign usually. I'll just click on continue here. Yeah, the next thing that you want to do is just open Edge, because you don't have Chrome, obviously. You can start without your data. Just try to dismiss this as easily as possible. Continue without the data again. No. Continue and start browsing. Yeah. And now here you can type PowerBI Gateway. That's the link that you want to use. The first one, just click on download standard mode. This can take a couple of minutes. Yeah, I'll just click on accept the terms, and I'll click on install. And I believe that's everything I need to do at this stage. I'll just come back once that's finished. Then you'll be prompted to enter your email address, which I will do. After you enter your email address, just click on sign in options here and click on use my default web browser. Click on sign in, and this will open up this login window where you will need to enter your email address again and just sign in as usual. There's nothing fancy here, so I'll just do that and come back once that's done. And when you do everything correctly, you should see this authentication complete, so that's perfectly fine. Now go back to the installation and click on register a new gateway. Click on next, and you can name it whatever you want, just make it memorable like Azure GW. Now for the recovery key, just make up a random password, make it at least 8 characters long, and just store it somewhere. You probably won't ever need that, but yeah, just store it somewhere, treat it like a password, and then paste it in here as well. Okay, and now click on configure, and once you see that screen, you are halfway done already. Now after you see this page, just click on connectors, and then click on the 3 dots here, and then click on this PC and find your Windows C drive, and then here make a new folder and call it PBI connectors. Just make sure you remember the name. And now under this C PBI connectors, just open it in Explorer. So C PBI connectors. And this is the folder where you need to paste your .mez file into. So I'll just go to my Windows computer. In the original tutorial, we've created this .mez file or downloaded it from the GitHub. And I have it under Documents, Power BI Desktop, and Custom Connectors. And this is probably where you have it as well. So just find it and Control-C it, just copy it, and then go to a Remote Desktop and just paste it in here. This on-premises data gateway should display the Xero connector here. So I'll just try to click on Apply and start, and it looks like it worked. I can see the Xero connector in this little table here, so that's perfectly fine. I don't need this virtual machine interface anymore. I can continue in my browser. All right, continuing in my browser, just go to powerbi.com, and first thing, just click on this cog and select Manage Connections and Gateways. And you want to make sure that you see Gateway here, and just click on the status and make sure it's online. If it's not online, go back to your virtual machine. Let me just show you. If it's not online, press Start here in the virtual machine and then open this on-premises data gateway again. If this virtual machine crashes or closes for any reason, you might need to do that at least the first time when it restarts, and then it should set up itself as a service and it should automatically restart. Click on My Workspaces, select My Workspace, and then here under the list of the things that you have, find your Xero report, but make sure not to select the actual report, but the semantic model that comes with it. So Test Xero report is my report. I'll click on ellipsis and then settings. Now I can click on gateway and cloud connections. This one, Azure Xero custom connector, is the one that I just set up, and it says that it's not configured correctly yet, and I can fix that by clicking on this play button. It says cannot be added to gateway for some reason. If it says cannot be added to gateway, then try to go to your Azure virtual machine again and try to restart it, just the usual way. And then once it restarts, click on the start button and open this on-premises data gateway again. When this window opens, just go to connectors and wait for it for the gateway to load so that Xero connector appears here. Then go back to Azure and click on the cog again and click on manage connections and gateways. So this is Power BI, manage connections and gateways, and make sure that the gateway is online again. Then try to go back and try to do the same thing again. Now, if it still doesn't work, open the gateway settings again. So make sure to select your gateway, click on the settings, and then here under Power BI, check both of these checkboxes here, click on save, and then go back to the settings, and now try again. And now there's a link that says manually add to gateway, and you can click that, and now you will be prompted to log into Xero. So under connection name, I'll just use hello Xero, but you can use, actually whatever you want. Endpoint and tenant, you can keep them as they are, so empty. And then authentication method will be Xero auth, and then click on edit credentials here. Xero will ask you to log in, which I will do. And you've probably done everything correctly in the last tutorial, but if you for some reason don't have your correct organization selected, now is your time to do so. So make sure you have your organization selected and then click on continue with. And then, after that's done, just click on create, click on gateway and cloud connections again, and select, Azure Xero connector, that's fine. And then here under maps 2, select hello Xero and click on apply. And now I believe you should be able to schedule a refresh. But now for me, the important part is I will just go back to my workspace and find my report again, so test Xero report, and I will try to refresh it again. So refresh now, and that looks like a correct time at my site. So that's how to set up the gateway to work with Azure. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next one. Cheers, bye.